Hello, is anybody home? Hi, Nicola, Sarah. Milena, Sandra, Jolene, Asgal, Kelly, Rufus. Well, here we are at the third annual Hoof Evaluations webinar. Hello, Colleen, Philly. Yay, you made it. Okay. Well, while everybody's checking in here. So anyway, I'm missing a foot. You know. Sometimes a dog takes off with one. One time, which foot was it? I think it was Cat Dancer's feet. My dog stole them, went and hid them, buried them like bones. So I paid the kids in the neighborhood to come over and look for them. Yeah, I was pretty upset. You know. And so the dog, she was we just lost her last year. She was a chocolate lab named Reba. So I had a bunch of old meat in the freezer. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to find out where she's hiding those bones. And so I would put meat out next to where I was, because she stole them. She flat out stole those feet. And the reason I know that is because then I would take this meat out, this frozen meat, and I'd put it in my shoe box thing or trimming box. And then I'd watch her out the window. And so she'd come up there and she'd look around, and then she'd get in there and she'd get that. And she headed around the other side of the yard. And when I come out, she just dropped it. And she acted like nothing, like da 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 da. And then when I went back in the house, she picked it up again and she took that meat and she went and stored it under a bush. And so I did this about 5 times. Each time she put it someplace different. So like I couldn't figure out where she was storing those feet. But finally, she went and got them out and started chewing on them in the yard, and I nabbed them from her. So dogs are clever, and they know they're stealing too. They're thieves, thieving hounds. Oh, what would we do without our animals? Our horses, our dogs, cats, birds. They're what give us the joy in our life. And they're also a lot of times what can give us a lot of heartbreak. And so that's what I've been thinking about this week, about the heartbreak that people are going through for their horses and what's going on with them. So I was anyway, that's just what I've been thinking about this week. And so, okay, well, good morning, Lisa from Australia. Okay, when I get under pressure, I forget people's names, just so you know. I can remember people's names, but if I feel under pressure to remember people's names, I'll forget them every time. It's like I have a brain blockage. Did you know that? So I was talking to someone. Okay, I'm going to have to look at my Facebook. I know who it was, but I'm just under pressure right now, so I forget. I forget the name. No kidding. It's like, oh my God. If I have to introduce my mother, I'll forget her name. No, actually, I don't forget horses' names, which is really interesting. And I don't really forget people's names. I only forget it if I'm under pressure to remember it. Like if I have to introduce somebody, All right. I have introductory phobia. And I just can't get it to come into my brain. You know, people I've known for years. It could be somebody I see every day. All right. But when I have to go introduce somebody, I forget their name. Anyway, we're going to start here in a second, but I have to look up something. I gotta get some other pages going here. I'll just let you look at them dead hooves there. Okay. My computer is working slow. Okay. Colleen, James, you're the person who I was trying to recall, and I do know your name, and I did remember it, but then when I have to like recall it, I get stressed. Colleen said that we need a motto, and maybe she can say it again about how we're restoring hooves and healing hearts. Isn't that what you said? Okay. You want to write that down, what you said? Colleen, I know your name. Colleen James, I know that. But when, like I said, when I go to have to say something and I'm in front of a bunch of people, I get like some sort of brain thing. Restoring hooves and healing hearts. That is going to be the motto of TAC team. Okay, because this week, I seen that big time. People's hearts just broken over what they have, either over what the farriers and the trimmers have done to their feet or what they've learned to do to them. You know, it just hurts people's hearts so much. It hurts it when the farrier or the trimmer does it. It hurts even more when you know you've done it to your own horse. You know, so a lot of us here, we have done those things. You know, I did it. And you know what's really pathetic? Is that even though I was still messed up and trimming the heels out, there are people that I wound up doing better than a lot of people, you know, and people that followed me, I don't think they were getting as many abscesses and stuff, even though we trimmed them feet down to the nubbin, you know. There's a real problem with abscesses in barefoot horses. Has anybody noticed that on these forums, how people are always talking about getting abscesses? Yeah, Sandra. Sandra says, I cried often after I realized what I did to my horses. Yeah, Lisa, that's why I'm here. Horse has been made sore too many times by professional trimmers. And yeah, that's right. We have to forgive ourselves for what we didn't know. And we have to forgive other people for what they think they know. And what we thought we knew, didn't we? Didn't we think we thought we knew what we were doing? We were taught such and such. Okay. Well, Deneen says she didn't get too many abscesses, but I know a lot of people that got really bad abscesses. Well, you know what? Maybe we can do a deal like that, Colleen, where you can share that video. Maybe we'll work it out maybe next Tuesday. Would that work? We'll get together and work it out where you can have a video. Okay, sorry, there's not much going on here. All right, but we're kind of talking a little bit here. Tom Tasha says, I've been lucky, no abscesses. Yeah, it's okay to make mistakes and learn, but you know, these people that come up with these name brand trims and got the books out and the whole shebang will not even consider that their trim is the cause of this. You know, there's something wrong there. So Sandra says, Collie never had abscesses. Tank had one this year when I helped her metabolism. Okay, we're going to start, and what I'm going to do, we're just going to do a refresher on some anatomy. Then I'm going to do Colleen's horse. And is there anybody here with an emergency that wants us to look at their horse that, you know, has super bad feet? And otherwise, I'll just pick somebody that I know has been here often and see. So any emergency. Okay, so Colleen, we're going to do your daughter's horse. Now, is she the one you signed up with on the forum? Okay. Dixie. Oh, man. I had a little Mustang mare I rode when I was a kid whose name was Dixie. She was paddle-footed. She paddle-footed like she was swimming. Okay. So we're just going to do a brush up on the anatomy. And for you to remember, okay, the one you thought was foundered, but it was abscesses on both front feet. Wow. And I'm going to ask, when we look at Colleen's horse, I'm going to ask you, a while back, somebody shared a video on Facebook of a guy taking almost the whole hoof wall off, and underneath it was totally black fungus that had eaten all the lamina. Does anybody remember seeing something like that? Hi, Kathy. Yeah, Sarah, do you know, did I post that on my Facebook page? The Happy Hoof Act one? Okay, we'll try and find that. Okay. Yeah, I can't remember, but it was pretty dramatic. Well, you're going to see on Colleen's horse, she's got the same thing going on. Okay, all right, so we're going to go to screen sharing here. Okay. Wonder what this is. Webinar Ninja wants to share the conscious. Huh, I'm going to have to. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now. Okay, just a minute. We're just going to go through some pictures on anatomy and refresh your memory on what we're doing here. Okay? Let's see. So I know when people watch this, if you're watching this and it's pre-recorded, it could be far in the future when this stuff never happens anymore because we have taken over the world and changed the whole thing. So these lame horses and laminitis, because of the way that is the goal. In case anybody didn't know, okay, this is TAC team training because we're going to change the established order of things. These farriers have had plenty of time to get it right, and they just continue to want to be arrogant and not change their ways. And Barefoot Trimming came in and, got hijacked by Strasser. Yeah, but you know what, Nicola? And once we get this, see, we're going to get this organization established. It's going to be a legitimate organization, okay, with logos, literature, outreach. We're gonna educate people. They don't understand because they can't see. They're blind to the truth. Okay, but we're gonna open people's eyes. Okay. Okay. Not sure where I'm going here. Just a minute. Where do I want to go? Okay. Just a second. Sorry, I'm slow. I worked all day and then I got home like 15 minutes ago to do this. Okay. Just a second. MNOPQRS. So I'm looking for soul here. Just hold on to. We want to do a little bit of a refresher course on your soul. Okay? Okay, I'll show you some of these things. Let's see. Okay, now the thing I want you to remember is that what we're trying to do, now you see on this hoof capsule, now just a minute, let me small this up a bit. Okay, can everybody see this picture? Okay, now can you see this? You can see the coronary band right here. Do you see that right there? And then right here is the lamina leaves. But before you ever get to the bottom of that, what do you got right here around this edge? You have sulcorium that starts right here. Just a minute. Let me get. Sulcorium starts, yeah, I want white. Sulcorium starts right here. Okay, here's the coronary band. Here's the lamina. Okay. Sulcorium starts before it gets to the bottom of the foot, before the lamina doesn't go clear down like that, and then the sulcorium, okay? The lamina, or gosh, the sulcorium that grows the sole starts up here, and there you go. There's that convex ridge. See that? Okay, so this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to get this wall to be a tight fit around this whole wall so that it will retain this sole ridge right under the rim of the foot where it belongs. You see, when the sole ridge grows correctly and is contained, what's it do? It creates, well, maybe somebody can help me with the word here. It creates an insert, a form-fitting insert of protection for the rim, the sharp rim of the coffin bone and sulcorium. Do you see that? Yes. Well, what it is the sulcorium itself is cartilage. And then you got the bone that's underneath it. It's a good over 1/8, 2/8 inch thick around the end of that bone. Okay, and so the sole that grows from it is also its protector. See there? That let's look back here. Okay, so here's the rim around here, and that's like cartilage, and it's soft and movable. All right, and from that rim, it grows its own protection around it like that. See there? So the sole is hard. And so it's growing its own protection. Do you see what I'm saying here? Now, when the wall, let me find it here. Here, we'll use blue. Okay, when the wall is tightly connected, just a second. Tightly connected, like so. Okay, then it helps. The sole is soft. The sole cannot maintain its own shape without the wall. The wall that grows around here, okay, the wall that grows around here helps keep this sole ridge right under the rim of the foot where it's supposed to be. And so when the wall gets flared and stretches out like that, then the sole that, see, this sole ridge has to be the same shape as the rim of the foot. You see that? And then the sole corium fits right in there, and it's protected by this hard sole growing around it. And so, and the wall keeps it all where it's supposed to be. But when the wall stretches out, then the sole, let's see, let's use this color. The sole, even though you see I have this round here, but you know it grows like this, right? You know, oh, come on, stupid thing. See, it grows like that. Get it? Bunch of little sole tubules, but it's rounded and form-fitting. Okay? But when the wall stretches out, then this is no longer round here, no longer form-fitting. Instead, you got this number. Okay? And so you've got, instead of going like this and being form-fitting, even though it's, you know, form-fitting so that it fits perfectly on there, instead of that, you get this number. Well, then you have this rim of the coffin bone sitting on a flat surface. Yeah, distortion. And that's when you get coffin bone remodeling. Right here. Now, these farriers, they're always complaining about how you can't have a barefoot horse because if they're standing on their sole, if they're standing on their sole, it's going to affect the circumflex artery. You ever hear that? Okay, well, that's baloney. See? Well, now it might affect it if your wall is out like this and your sole, instead of being form-fitted like this, if your sole instead is like this, it could probably affect that. But if your sole is shaped like this all the way around the rim of that foot, See, it gives it it's protecting it. See, there's no way that the horse then, if the wall is sharing and helping support the sole, there's no way that that's going to affect that circumflex artery, because this sole corium was meant to house the rim of the, or not the sole corium, the sole, the way the sole grows from it, is meant to house this and keep it from remodeling and keep it in its own form-fitted little, whatever you call that, of sole, ridge of sole, U-shaped, V-shaped ridge of sole. You see that? Now, at the same time, you have to remember that even though I'm making this little half circle, and it's form-fitted to that it's composed of tiny little horn tubules, okay, that are like this stupid thing. Well, I'm going to do it like this. Tiny little horn tubules. Like this. See there? Yeah, like filaments. Well, they're like hairs. Yeah, filaments. Isn't that the same thing? Okay, so I showed you that last week on the inside of that capsule. If anybody was here last week, I showed you on the inside of Molly's hoof capsule how you could see that sole, you know, inside there at the very bottom, how you can see that sole is like this at the bottom, and just smooth and just perfect so that this can fit in there without remodeling. Okay, now this is why when you have a foundered horse and you have no attachment here in the wall and the foot rotates and this toe is aimed straight down, this is why, oh, there's Shandy messaging me. I'm busy right now. Where are you at? You're supposed to be here. She must have forgot we're doing this today. This is why, where was I at? Now I forgot what I was saying. Oh, foundered horses. Okay, this is why when the foot rotates and the toe is aimed down and the horse is basically walking on the toe, that this whole bone wears away. Okay? All right. So, did you learn something from that? Do you understand what I'm trying to show you here? So what we're doing, okay, is what happens is, take off some of this stuff. I suppose I will never all right. Oops, that's all it's going to let me go. Okay, so now what we're doing, all right, is usually what happens is the heel buttress that's right here, I wish that wasn't in the way, the heel buttress gets trimmed out of the horse and the horn tubules. Now Molly was pretty restored. So you see her horn tubule there. You see the pigmentation in the wall. You see that stripe. Okay. So her horn tubule was pretty close to being in alignment if it was growing from here with the lamina. See, lamina, the hoof wall attaches to lamina, grows to there, hooks up with the sole. If it's a tight fit, then it's going to keep. Oh no. Okay, then it's going to keep these sole tubules under here in alignment. See there? And they're growing from there around there, making that sole ridge. See that? So this here, this hoof wall from here to here, which is going to start, you know, the hoof wall is thick, right? So it starts from here, and right here has to be in alignment. And so what happens is when the heels are trimmed out or the foot is just allowed to grow long and it slowly collapses forward, or, you know, a number of things can happen that displace these horn tubules here. And instead of being like this, they grow like this. Okay, now here we go. This is meant to grow down, hook up with the sole right here, and then they two grow down to the ground together, right? Okay, so when this piece here that is meant to hook up with this sole here doesn't hook up there, and instead it's pushing everything forward like that, what is going to happen to this sole? To this form-fitted, convex sole ridge that protects the rim of the inner foot, what is going to happen to that? You know, your horn tubules are not going to grow down. Your horn tubules are not going to grow down like that with the sole or with the wall. Okay, right in here, they're going to be messed up real bad. They're going to be, you know, pulled forward like that. You know, you'll never get any depth of sole. All right. So this is why a lot of times your wall is messed up in here. You can't get a tight white line and all kinds of weird stuff is going on. And so this goes back to Colleen, what we're going to look at. Are we looking, okay, what we're going to look at on the horse she showed me, when it was it this morning, yesterday. Okay, why is that sole so bad like that? And what is that black stuff doing up in there? Okay, well, look, if you have a piece of wall that's supposed to connect here tightly and hook up with sole here, but it's been displaced, what's going on inside there? What's going on inside that foot? You know, now these feet will stretch and they will solidify themselves and they will adapt to a point. But whenever this lamina up here stretches, whether you got a laminar wedge, see, you don't just get laminar wedges in the toes. A laminar wedge can be around the whole thing, but you can also just have maybe not a lot of wedge, but just a bunch of damage and stretched tissue. And when this gets stretched, what do you think happens? That's an injury. You know, that's an injury. In a sense, it's like a wound. Yeah, it weakens the lamina and it causes the lamina to do strange things as well, to produce more lamina, which is very yellow. And I'll show you some more lamina here. Just a second here. You know, I'm afraid to go out of screen share because the last time I went out of screen share and then tried to get back, it wouldn't let me back in. This webinar program leaves a few things to be desired. But I was going to show you a laminar wedge, but see, there's a black fungus that likes to get in here. If it can get through the white line and get up there, if a certain kind of fungus can get up there, it will just eat all that dead necrotic tissue. Yeah. And so we're going to look at Colleen's horse and we're going to see how this is going on in that horse. Let me see here. Now, I've run into two horses in the last 10 years that, okay, let's say if this was the dorsal wall here. Let's see, let me get a better color for you so you can see it. The dorsal wall coming down, and let's say it's tightly connected. All right, but when it's not, when you get a super flare and it's out like this, wait a minute, this, okay, I want you to look, this is why it's called the laminar wedge. Because of the shape that you wind up getting, which is like this. Okay, what shape is that? That is a wedge shape. See, it's a wedge. That's why it's called a laminar wedge, because of the shape it is in the toe. So all this lamina from here reproduces the lamina that's on the end. This here, do you see this lamina right here? Now here, you got lamina here, right? Along here. But do you see this lamina here? This interconnects, as you know, with this, right? So when this is being stretched, quit barking, quit please. The Dougie's barking. When this stretches, now it's really interesting. The lamina right here reproduces so that it can stay attached to the sensitive lamina right here. Okay, did you understand what I just said here? When your wall stretches out like this and you get a laminar wedge, what a laminar wedge is for some reason, this is so fascinating. This lamina knows that it's under pressure and it's being pulled away from this foot here. So you know what it does? It reproduces. It reproduces so it can stay connected to the internal lamina. That's interesting. Okay, so when you get a laminar wedge, you're going to see, and you'll see some red and pink in it and blood and different things in here. Okay, now sometimes you can have a laminar wedge in here, and yet you could have solid sole going clear up to the end of the wall. You won't even know that you got a laminar wedge in there. You'd have a tight white line clear up here connecting the wall, tight white line, and you have sole stretched all the way over there so that you don't even know that you have a laminar wedge in here. Deneen is asking me a question. Does the laminar wedge grow out with corrective trimming? Sometimes, not all the time. A lot of times, yeah, you can. But if the laminar wedge gets up here, okay, let's say you have the foot as rotated. Rotated means that the foot has gone that way and the wall has gone this way. Get it? Okay, and the heels have gone up like that. Okay, it just rotated right into the foot. The whole foot rotates in the capsule because the laminar connection was loosened. Okay, so if the rotation is not clear up here, you can grow it out. But if it's clear up here, you're going to have a real problem growing that out. Every time you bring the toe back, the foot is just going to tip more and more and more. Because instead of, then what you have is instead of the sole or the horn tubule you know, horn tubule growing down like this. See how that's a straight shot? Instead of the horn tubule that you might have a papilli here and a horn tubule, instead of it growing straight down like this, once that rotates in there, it wants to grow like this. See there? And so you can never get that thing grown out, because the more you take the toe back, the more the foot rotates for some reason. And you wind up getting this really thick thing growing here. Takes the toe forever to grow because that horn tube has got to go clear up here and then down like that. And you never seem to get any decent hoof wall right up at the top here. But the heels, usually that hasn't rotated. See, the heels don't rotate per se. They just lift up this way. So the heel seems to grow really quickly, while the toe doesn't seem to hardly grow at all. But the truth of the matter is the toe is growing. It's just that for it to get any length on it here, this horn tubule is growing up like that, and then it's curving, and then it's going down like that. You see that? Okay. So, you know, that's the thing when you're working on these foundered horses. Did the rotation reach up into the coronary band? Yeah. The hoof wall, when this is done, if somebody remind me, these hooves I have here, I'll show you again the difference. And the top of the coronary band, you'll see how thick it is. Okay, you see this right here? Right there? Okay, that's the coronary band groove right there. See there, that coronary band is just supposed to lay at ease in there. It's never, ever supposed to move. But if that thing rotates, then all the little papilli that are feeding all these tubes, they're moved out of place. And so now all the little tubes are growing a different direction. Instead of growing down like this, they're growing up like that and then down. See? Okay. Let's see. So this thing up here gets really thick. This coronary band will get very thick up here. Usually it's very thin, you know, and it'll get real thick. All right, so now we're going to go do Colleen's horse, remembering all of this. Remember how when you're in kindergarten you do scribble pictures? That's how I learned to do this technical work. So, okay, let's take all this off. Well, we'll just close it out. Don't save because I don't want that on there. Okay, now I'm going to go to a new window and oh, I think I messed up. Just a minute. Let me try that again. Okay. Oh, geez. Hold on, I'm having technical difficulties. Okay. Now, at the end of this deal, anybody that isn't on our Facebook page, if you want, I will put you on there. Hold on. Okay. Well, this stupid thing is not doing what I want it to do. Oh, gosh. Okay, there we go. I was trying to resize this window. Okay, there we go. So I can go to the forum. Okay, and I rearranged this today, and I hope it kind of helped people figure out how to navigate this. Okay, so we're looking for, let's see. Go to the members list. Colleen, are you signed up under your name? I can't remember. Oh, Rustic under R. Okay. Rustic. Now, here's something you're going to have to learn how to do. Once you get all this information and all this knowledge, and plus once you know what farriers do and what trimmers do, and you understand the history of it, you'll be able to look at a horse's foot once you just know a little bit about who trimmed it and who did what and where, and you'll be able to tell the past and the present and hopefully the future of that foot. You know, I have people tell me you couldn't possibly know what happened to that horse. Oh, yes, I can. You know, I know because I know what farriers do. I know what trimmers do. I know how the hoof responds when it's trimmed a certain way. I can tell it's past. You know, I'm like a fortune teller almost. But it's because I have knowledge, not because it's magic. Okay, so let's see. There we go. Okay. Well, what happened there? Let me go back there. Okay, just a second. Forgot what I was doing. Okay. Okay, there we go. I forgot what I was doing. All right. Gotta have a little drink of tea here. I think some people forgot we were having this today, or else they didn't get notified. I need to set up an email thing just for this class where I can write an email, one that isn't to the whole forum, because there are people on there that were in the old forum that aren't in the class and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to read this. This is Colleen James. And Colleen, what's your daughter's name? This is your daughter's horse. Is that correct? Pony? Is this Pony? Can't remember. Yes. No, a quarter horse mare, 11 years old. Okay. Got it. All right. You're probably going to tell me this in here, but I was asking anyway. Okay, so this is my daughter's mare, 11 years old, spent 90% of her life in a stall with shoes, high carb processed feed, and limited turnout. That said, she cribs and was not very friendly when she arrived as a birthday gift from a dear friend of ours. Fast forward, she now has a much better personality, barefoot, 24/7 turnout, 24/7 unlimited hay, whatever grass the herd can find. Last Labor Day, she abscessed in both front feet, and she is the reason I decided it was time to take matters into my own hands. So I had about 4 hours worth of training at a barefoot trimming clinic on a cadaver hoof, and twice my mentor farrier looked at all my feet and said I was doing great. I, however, did not believe it because things were not any better. This mare in particular still had no heels and a stretch toe. So I began to read, reread, research, and review. None of my notes told me anything. Then, thank the Lord, I found Linda and Rhiannon and the rest of the crew, and hopefully I can undo what I thought was correct for our little herd of 6 before I'm too old. Old dog, new tricks coming up. Hey, all right. That's right. I'm going to have to log in here because the pictures don't show up if you don't log in. I didn't realize that. Okay. Hold on. Okay, Sarah. Okay, so we're going to just go through these images. Okay, already, what's the one thing you notice here about right here and right here compared to right here and right here? You know, that is that it seems like the foot is kind of contracted a bit. Yeah. You know, kind of contracted a little bit there. What you do is you get a normal foot that's healthy, and then you start comparing this. You know, usually you have wall that comes out a little further over here. Okay. Now, what I'm seeing here, let's go back. See, there's just something ain't quite right in here as compared to all this. It's like this piece of hoof wall here is really pushing this up very hard right in here. It's like this part's trimmed out, but this part's almost overgrown and pushing up right here. Well, you should take a picture of it. Colleen says, I wish you guys could see the shoe that I kept from her. Yeah, I'd like to see it. You know, I have to look at a foot for a while before, a lot of times before I can come to an instant, you know, understanding. So a lot of times what you think is not what's going on. Like if you were to look at this foot right here, you'd say, boy, that looks like it's jammed. Well, is it jammed, or is it just that the heel is pulled down here and making that arch up like that? See, that can happen too. But you know what? See, now one nice thing we're seeing now, is this the foot that you're having so much problems with? Or are you having problems with both of them? It's the other foot. Hi, Debbie. You're going to have to rewatch the rerun so you understand where we're at here. The other. Okay. And okay, because this foot doesn't look too bad, but definitely the heels are needing some attention. But yeah, here now, is this the same foot? Okay. All right then. So we look here and we can see that we were right, that definitely the heels are contracted, right? See, and see, it was a little hard. We kind of know from looking at this, you're going, yeah, the heels are contracted. But by the time you get over to that other picture, then you can really see it. See, all this stuff is teaching us different things for looking for what is the distortion, what is going on in the foot. Now, notice how she doesn't have any real frog stay there. This is all digital cushion right here with no frog stay. Oh yeah, she has frog, but see, there's a difference between having frog and having frog stay. When her foot is restored, she will have frog stay, Did y'all see that picture I posted today that somebody sent me? How they noticed that the frog stay had grown in their horse? I put that on the Facebook page. See, when this foot is restored, okay, this right here, see, this right here is her frog is just right here, just kind of right there. When the foot is restored, she'll have frog stay clear up into here, and then frog down like that. See there? Now, my mare Molly had real contracted heels and no frogs. And you saw the frog stay on her, right? Here, let's go look at that real quick. Oh. Okay, let me switch this around. Okay, you see that frog stay? She had none. Okay? So this is ultimately what you're going to grow. Right now, this is what you got right here. You've got only this much frog stay in that foot. But when it's all said and done, this is all going to build up. She's got, this minute here. Okay, this mare has frog, has this much frog at least. Okay, at least that much frog. And this frog stay has grown clear up into here and is supporting those bulbs and has the digital cushion pushed back up where it's supposed to be. So, okay, just a minute. Okay, now, see, there's just a little tiny bit here. Okay, now you see, Molly had weak frogs like that. She does have frog, but she's got very weak frogs. And part of that is due to the heels being contracted, but that will come out. You can, Molly, she had very contracted heels, but you see that when she passed away, they had corrected themselves a lot. Yeah, it does. It ties the whole thing together there. Now, okay, now this is the other foot, right? Yeah. Okay, now remember when we were doing, just a minute here. Remember when we were just having that anatomy lesson and structure of the hoof wall lesson and how it joins with the sole and all that? See, now we can tell that her, look where the heel is right here. You know, this should be clear back up here. So we know that all these horn tubules are all pushing forward on her foot and have affected the lamina connection inside that foot. Yeah. It does almost look like she's stepping out of there. Yeah, this is what's bothering her a lot right in here. Now, but this will get better. Okay, now look at that nice dorsal wall. Okay, she's probably got good coffin bones. Where she's having problems is going to be right in here. Okay, just a minute here. Okay, so like these, I'm following this horn tubule down. Okay, that should be probably more like that. See? Because look here, if I followed that back here, okay, right here is how the heel would go. That's where the heel of the horse is. See her inner heel? So the hoof wall heel should be like this. See that? Okay, so you see how the hoof wall is shoved up here? Well, her inner heel is right here. So this is pushing up. Now, you got your lamina. Look at here. Remember, you got your lamina that all lines up on the inner foot, right? Okay, but in this case, this heel right here is being smashed like this. See that? So what's it going to do to this lamina? It's going to run it all forward like this, too. Oh, look there. Isn't that interesting? I just did the very angle that the hoof wall was going at by doing that. Did you see that? Okay, see, and this kind of bends down a little bit there. So anyway, you know, it's damaged all this lamina in here, and that's why you're getting that black goo that's going on. Okay, let's look at the next. Now remember, we got to understand exactly what's going on before we can fix it, right? And so that's what these hoof evaluations are about. What I want to do is I want to show you how it should be, and then we're going to look at what's going on so that you can see the contrast between how it should be and what's really going on. Now here, look, no frog stay. Look, here's her frog stay right here. See it? Right here. That's all the frog stay she has right there. When this gets completed, okay, this is going to lift up. Her bulbs here are pulled underneath her foot. Can you see that? This hairline, let's see, should be like so. I'm not a very good drawer here, but they should have this much more frog under here. And this frog stay should be clear up here, like so. Big, thick frog under here. Nice heels supporting the bulb up in the air. Okay, well, I can see right here and right here that there is jamming. First of all, look at the compression rings right here. See them? When the wall gets loaded, you're going to get these little stress, what I call compression rings, because it's amazing that the foot will compress and then it'll pooch out here. And what it's trying to do is it's trying to unload the wall. By compressing the wall, it's trying to unload the wall so that it can protect the coronary band here, so that the coronary band isn't being shoved up. Okay, that's just periopal. Somebody asked me, why is the coronary band so wide? Well, okay. Well, that's just periopal skin. You're seeing the periopal. But you could also, it doesn't look like there's a lot of jamming per se right here. Just a minute. I can see where you have mapped the dorsal wall at some point. Is that not correct? Okay. Okay, but see how nice and smooth the dorsal wall is? Well, you got a little bit of a ring right there. But look at these rings here. See them? All the way up. Okay, now look up here. Okay, now remember, you got to know when you're looking at your feet, you have to know what it's supposed to look like. Now down here, when you look at this, that doesn't look too bad. But when you look up here, this should not be just straight across like this. Okay, because the inner foot, when it is at rest, is shaped differently. And so what we're doing is we want to know how that inner foot is shaped. And this is why I have you map the dorsal wall too. And this even looks like it could be like you've mapped it, and this might even be 1/4 inch shorter from here to here. But you've still got something going on to where that's still jammed up here in the side. So we're going to look at a picture about what's wrong. When I look at this foot, what's wrong? What are the signs I'm looking for? And so I have to know what is the shape of the inner foot from the front. And so we're going to go to my pictures again. And we're going to go down to Molly, because she's the first one I started doing this on. Okay, I think I showed this last time too, about how I started mapping her dorsal wall. So it would be shaped like the inner foot. And just a minute here. I'm looking for an inner foot. Okay, don't look at none of that. Let's see. Where are we at here? This ain't it. Let me go back up to inner foot. Okay, right here. Okay, can everybody see that? Can you see this foot here and this capsule? Okay, let me make it a little bigger. Ah! All right, I want to get so I can draw on it. Well, I don't want to get rid of this. Just a second. I'm going to save that. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, now it's hard. It's not that good a picture, but I want you to see the coronary band. I'm going to outline it. Well, darn. Okay. It would have gone like this. See? On the sides here, it dips down. Look at here. See there? Okay, now notice the hoof capsule over here. Does this hoof capsule follow that? Just a second here. See, does this hoof capsule, look at that. Does this shape follow this shape? This is not Molly's foot. This is a horse named Toby. See? No, Molly's foot was not, her heels were crushed a little bit, but her, and she had a little bit of issue going on here with the toe, but no, her whole foot was not remodeled or anything. But look here. This is the shape of the inner foot. You see that? And so look here. So when you're looking at a hoof capsule from the front, this is why when we map the dorsal wall, okay, we measure from here down. Now, of course, it's longer than this, see, because you got to have sole, right? This foot would have ended right about here. Okay, and then we go over 2 inches right here, and we measure down again following the horn tubule, and this is 1/4 inch shorter than the center. This is not cookie cutter. What this is doing is this is anatomical mapping of the exterior to try and find the interior and see if the exterior here is fitting to the shape and form in a general way to the shape and form of the inner foot. Can you see that? Now again, look at this, the top of this hoof capsule here, where the coronary band sat, should be the same shape as the coronary band. And when it's not, that's when you've allowed, these are the pillars, they've gotten long and they've jammed up. The hoof wall has jammed up. Okay, so what we're wanting, we would want this to look like this. See? And to follow, now, darn it, to follow the general shape of this, so that we know that the coronary band is sitting in there at rest and not being harassed by hoof wall, jammed up hoof wall. Okay? And that's why we read these growth rings. Now, do you see the growth rings in this hoof here? What a mess they are. Like this would have been the right front foot. Okay, I can tell that because the inside pillar is bulging, and this one would have had a run, this side would have had a run forward heel and kind of flared out like that, while this side would have been more compressed and bulging here. Look at the growth ring. Something like that. Okay, so now keeping this in mind, the shape of the coronary band, every horse has the same anatomy on the inner foot. The shape of the coronary band is the same. Okay, so, okay, now let's look at this foot just a second. Let's see. Okay, now, Colleen, do you see right up here how this is straight? Now look over here. Something's going on right here that has caused the periopal to grow excessively on that corner. Right there. Probably because there's hoof wall jamming up here in the sides. That's what all this is showing. All these compression rings all the way up. They go all the way up. Boom, boom, boom. Clear up. Yeah, like fat rolls. Exactly. And so if I could move this. Just a second, I'm gonna make this smaller. Okay, trying to get these over kind of to where, okay, see it there? How that goes down and how this just goes straight across. Okay, so this horse, I don't know yet for sure, but I know for one thing, this is going to have to be addressed right here. That'd be like an ingrown toenail. It's pushing that corner. Look at this, how low it is. Okay, to get that pushed up so it's straight up here, that's a lot of jamming, probably all over all the side and around each side. It's probably jammed way up. We'll look. Okay. So again, what are we doing? We're looking at what the inner foot, its shape, its form, and then we're seeing what's going on in the hoof capsule that isn't conforming to that shape and form and of that inner foot. Okay, wow. See? Now you can really see how, look at this. This should be, it's like if we could take, let's do this. I got an idea. I'm going to take this foot, copy it, and then I'm going to put it in paint. Now, see, you might have some false heel going on underneath that foot that is holding that foot forward right there. Colleen's asking me a question. She says, can we compare what I sent you today to this and see if what I have been doing has helped at all? Yeah, we can do that. Okay, so now this is when you signed up for the class. So these aren't current pictures. Is that correct? Okay, but that's okay. We'll get to the current pictures and stuff, but let's go ahead and look at what's going on, what was going on with the hoof, and then we'll go to what's going on with it now. And okay, can we do that? Oh, you're scared? Aw, don't be scared. It's going to turn out all right because there's a lot of good going on in this foot. Okay? All that's happened is you've had some issues going on right in this area on both sides. On that one side, let's see, I'm trying to think, it's the other side that's doing that, or is it this side? I can't remember. Yeah, we all send you a hug. That horse going to be okay. Okay, so let's see. This is what I want to do. I'm just going to take this around like this. Oh, that ain't very good. But if we could do that, and then just kind of stretch that forward a little bit more and take off the toe. But you see how that's supposed to fit? That part's right. I don't really like that toe. Just a minute. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. That's better. All fixed. Well, we're happy to have you here and for you to share this with us. And this stuff is scary. Some of these feet, this foot don't scare me. There's some of these people, some folks, no offense, some folks have feet. I got feet that scare me on my pony. You know. Yeah, I don't believe in navicular either. I do realize that bone can be affected, but you know, when you trim out that frog stay and just dump the digital cushion on the ground, that's no help for that. That's meant to cushion that navicular bone and that deep digital flexor tendon. Okay, so see, this wouldn't be too bad a foot here, would it? Not too scary. Okay, all that's happened is, you know, she's just kind of growing out of her foot right here at the heel, but you've also changed that, so we're going to look at that. Okay. All right. Okay, now here again you can see, is that the same foot? Okay, see the jamming over here? Right there. Now that's maybe not jamming. I think that's the heel being trimmed out over here, which makes that rise up like that. And it can be a combination of both. Okay, now we're in the back feet. Is not that correct? Okay. Okay, one thing you guys need to learn to do is take and look at these feet and let me see here. Okay, see how you're getting a little bit of a bull nose? See that? That's what you call starting to get a little bit of a bull nose. Okay, the reason for that is look at this horn tubule here. Look at this section of hoof wall. See that? Okay, that needs some relief, which you might have already done all this. So, but let's just say we weren't. Okay, see this area is really hard. Do you remember last time I told you if you took a pencil or a marker and you rolled it along here, it would mark this foot about like that. Do you see that? Okay, a lot of times people aren't trimming this area from here to here very well. It develops, it gets like this. Okay, you see how it's starting to push forward that way? If it doesn't push forward that way, it'll push back up like this. Okay, so you got to start relieving this area of the hoof. And so I'll just come in there and I'll take a marker and roll it along the ground right there. And then I'll just take and rasp from the top and rasp this off right here. That'll start getting rid of this. This is pushing the foot forward into a bull nose. And that'll help your heel come back right too. Yeah, you know, with the foot on a stand, like I got a foot on the stand, it's like this. Here's my foot. Here's my stand. Okay, here's my rasp. Okay, you see there? I would mark that, then I would put my, if you don't have a stand, then I just mark it and I just take my rasp upside down and hold the foot up and just pull the rasp up and rasp this off. Rasp it down a bit. Okay. Yep. Yep, getting a little bull nosy there. And there again, you can see how that's like that. You just need to come. Maybe it isn't like this. We're going to look at it if you have any new pictures and see if it's like this. Okay, but just needs this area here. Like I'm sure it's probably already taken care of itself since you started trimming. That's all right. You know, we'll go through them here. That way you'll see things. Back feet seem to be the last to start growing heel. Well, there's your frog stay. And where's it supposed to be? Clear up here. See there? Yeah, it's gonna see as soon as those horn tubules start coming back and lining up, the sole in your heel will get better. Your heels will get stronger. They'll lift the bulb up better, and you start developing that frog stay. But this all takes time. And you need to get that new hoof, like I was telling you about. See, that new hoof will get rid of a lot of this. Okay, there we go. See how this horn tubule here is pushing the dorsal wall kind of into a bull nose there, and it's pulling the heel under as well. I used to kind of ignore the back feet. I never knew what to do with them. And now I know you just do the same thing you do with the front feet. You know, every foot, of course, is different. And everyone has its issues that you address individually. But also the mapping in general keeps you in the general vicinity of all these things. Yeah, the back feet are more spade shaped and the front feet are more oval. See, like I got something on that somewhere, but I'm not sure where. Okay, yeah, that's what I found out, that the front feet are not round. They're oval. And the back feet are like spades. Like, okay, front feet are more oval. That's not very good. Sorry, kind of like that. And the back feet are, they kind of go like this. They have a kind of a different side right here to them. That's not very good. Don't trim them like that, but they're not round. Okay. Yeah, you could, that new hoof would really help these feet a lot. Okay, so let's see what I'm doing here. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go to Facebook to those pictures you posted. Okay. Okay, new hoof is thrush treatment that I've been using for 7 or 8 years. And I never have thrush, and I live in Kansas. And it's wet here. I don't dilute it. I put it in a small spray bottle and I spray it on straight. And I'll show you what it is. Let's see. Okay, new hoof cut. It's for milk cows. It's $42 at Valley Vet, and it's $38.99 at Blaine's Farm and Home. Now, this is a gallon. This is a gallon, and in a dairy barn, they have foot baths that the cows walk through. And so this will make 50 gallons of foot bath in a dairy barn. But what I do is I take it and I put it in a little tiny spray bottle that fits in my tool thing. And I spray, every time I trim, I spray the foot with that. And I never, ever have thrush. But then trimming the frogs is good too, but you have to have something more than that. And this will get rid of thrush forever. Yes, I go around with blue hands all the time. So you want to wear a rubber glove if you don't want blue hands, because my spray bottle's crappy, you know. And if you have deep central sulcus thrush, then you clean out the central sulcus with Q-tips and a syringe or whatever, and you stuff it with cotton, and then you saturate it with this stuff, and that keeps dirt from getting up in there. And yeah, all that stuff. And now see, here's the deal. They sell this stuff in like an 8-ounce bottle for $12. Or you can buy a gallon that'll last you forever. And I've gone through 2 gallons of this stuff in the last 7 years. Well, I've still got almost a gallon of it. I just bought another gallon here a year ago. So really great stuff. Not for desert horses, Kelly. How long will it last for 120 horses? Probably quite a while still. You know, probably quite a while still. You just spray it on once a month when you trim, or every time you trim. And so I have treated horses that I was doing these horses for this lady. I knew she wasn't going to clean their feet. And this one horse had really bad deep central sulcus thrush. So I cleaned it out, stuffed it with cotton, sprayed that stuff on it, didn't come back for 4 months. When I come back, it was all healed up. And there were still signs of the blue stuff in the foot and no thrush in the horse. Yeah, 4 months, I know. Well, maybe 3.5. Well, because that's, that's when I could get over there. So their feet were all fine. They were all out in the pasture. Yeah, I don't believe in like trimming every 4 months, but sometimes the way we were all trimming, the horse was lucky if we didn't get there for 4 months. You know what I mean? Yeah, see, it kind of started to dawn on me that everybody I trimmed for, their horses had better feet than my own, because I had access to my horses. Get it? So mine were over trimmed. Yeah. And anyway, okay, so that's new Hoof. Overzealous trimming. Well, what happens is you want to fix stuff. Us women are fixers. We're fixers. Okay. Where was I going? I was going to Facebook. Facebook. Okay. Okay, I have to tell her I am doing a webinar. Where are you? Okay, and here's the conversation I had with you this morning, Colleen, and we're going to look for the picture. Is this where the picture was, or do I need to go somewhere else? Okay. Here we go. False heels. False heels. That's right. We were talking about false heels. That could be what started this. Okay. See, people start trimming and growing heels, but if you don't know about the false heels and you're not getting the barb right, and then everything can't come back correct. And see, we've been saying it could turn into something bad. Oh, she's giving me excuses. I worked late today. I had a great time with her. We did a virtual trim and I recorded it, but I didn't have the microphone on. All it is her trimming, and I was talking to her, but I didn't have the microphone on, and it was just a blast. We just had a great time. Okay, this is the right front of my picture pony. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to look at this foot here. Okay, everybody. So, yeah, this is all false heel. This is not even, look at that. That's all false heel. And so this held the whole hoof capsule forward. Look at the bars. Clear up to here. When the bars should end about here. What you said, Sandra. Yeah, look at that black stuff eating that out there. So somehow we're going to have to come in here. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take this foot. So now we get a good example of what false heels will do. And I have a friend who isn't taking the class, but who has followed my trimming for a long time. And that person has a trimming business. And I was talking to that person, not going to say whether it's male or female. And I was talking to that person about false heels, and they tried to tell me, oh, yeah, you just keep doing the same trim and it'll work its way out. Well, I'm sorry, but it doesn't always work its way out. See what I mean? You have to trim these bars. Look at where it's stuck. Look where your heel's stuck right there. Do you see right there in the bar? Okay, does everybody know about what I shared this week on where you have to start trimming those heels and getting right in there at the seat of the corner and right in here at this piece of bar wall right here? See, that's really important. Even though your heels aren't exactly right, that's real important to get this wall trimmed out right here so that this all will keep moving back with the foot and everything that's moving and being restored and all that. Okay, well, I'll try and help you understand it. Yeah, it is scary. It is scary, for sure. Okay, I'm going to take this and okay, we're going to take this, we're going to copy it, we're going to go to paint right here. Okay, and we're going to rotate that baby right there. And we're going to resize it a little. Okay, can everybody see that? Pretty good. Okay, so this here on the lateral side, yeah, you see how the bar here, right here, held that heel right there. See, and so you know what that means? That means the inner heel and the back of the foot just started pushing up this way and probably kind of maybe came out of this area a little bit. So what you're going to have to do, yeah, okay, well, look, the heels, the inner heel on the horse is underneath this area being crushed. That's why she can't stand on her foot. And you can't pick up that other side. I'm looking. It takes me a while to think about this. This, see, and the frog here is looking mighty strange. It hasn't got much frog on it. That's just some frog corium. Your foot is actually back here. Your base of your frog is here. And your heels, you're going to have to come in here and clean up all this bar, and it's going to be scary. Sorry, but it is. And that's why you're going to have to order some casting material, because you may have to cast the foot. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I believe you did. I can see that you took off a lot, Colleen. Hey, the first time I did it, there's a bunch of videos on it on YouTube. As long as you don't get it on the coronary band, you know. And the way I do it is I wrap those casts and then I put water on them. So then they get hard. So let's see here. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if your toe is kind of on this hoof capsule's kind of far forward there. This looks like it. Look, see how dark that lamina is there, how yellow it is? I want a copy of this picture. Let's say file, save as. Three. Hold on, I want to look at something. We're gonna look at some stuff. I wish these dogs would quit. Okay. My husband's home. His dog is whining. Oh, Daddy's home. Woo. I can hear him out there. Okay. Okay, see, I can enlarge this now. See there? Now, see how yellow that is? Whenever you guys see real yellow in the white line, that means something is going on there. The foot is exuding laminar serum. The lamina is compromised and it's exuding laminar serum into the white line. Yeah, I'll bet all this is just going to come out right here. And I bet you could take out a bunch of the wall there too. But here, okay, I was going to tell you what I saw twice. See, I never got to tell you about this. Just a second here. Okay, you know how I told you there'd be a laminar wedge? Like, look at the white line here. Okay, just a second here. Okay, look at the white line, which is really yellow. See how they name this stuff just to confuse us. The white line is really yellow. All right, but how you can have a laminar wedge in the foot, but the sole will stretch all the way with the flared out wall, and you will have a tight white line. That happens a lot. Okay, and so there could be, I'm not saying in this foot there is one, but there can be underneath that sole, in between the lamina of the inner foot and the up, there could be a laminar wedge that is this wide underneath this sole here. See that? You could have a laminar wedge that wide and still have what looks to be like a tight white line. This is what has deceived farriers for centuries. And it's why they don't think they can take the toe back. Okay? And that's why they let these horses get toes that are clear out to here. See? Okay, you can have a tight white line clear out to here. But back here is where the inner foot is. See there? That's why we do the mapping, to get within a general vicinity of where to take that toe back to. See there? Now, again, not saying this mare has that. Don't know. I don't think so, but you never know. Could have some of that going on in here. This is looking kind of funky. Almost like there's just a lot of dead stuff, and maybe because it's all stretched and moved and, you know. Okay. So, all right. So that's what I wanted to tell you about that. We don't want to save that. All right. So, yeah, you've got some real yeah, you know, this is what has happened as the cartilage, as the heel has grown and pushed that up, but the heel didn't come back with it, then it's just shoved all this wall kind of up here, and it's just like come loose and something got in there, and now it's eating all the dead lamina. And so what I was going to tell you, and I still never got to tell you on that last picture. Did I not save that? No. Just a minute. Okay, what I was going to tell you was I seen two horses where the sole either came loose in here. Now remember, you could, like I said, you could have your toe could actually be there. You have a tight white line and you have laminar wedge in here. I've seen two horses where the sole came loose, shrunk back to here, and something got up there and ate that laminar wedge, and all you had was a big, huge gap in the toe like that, a big, huge empty gap up in the toe, clear up into the wall. You could see where the lamina on the coffin bone had, there's a name they have for it, when it dries out. And the hoof wall can still grow down and renew it. It's like when you tear your fingernail off, you can grow a fingernail back. Okay, there's a name for what the lamina on the hoof wall does when it dries out, but then the wall grows back. So you could, yeah, that was a good 2 inches up in there, clear up in the foot there. And them horses weren't feeling any pain at all. And so I often thought that if you could get this black stuff here and you could open up that wall and you could put that up in there, that it would eat that dead lamina, and that would be better for the foot, more healthy than if you had the laminar wedge. So this foot is of extra interest to me due to this black stuff, because I actually think that this stuff can be very beneficial. Okay, this is something I've been thinking of for a long time, that if you knew what kind of fungus this was and if you could cultivate it, then you could open up these toes that have a laminar wedge and you could introduce this stuff into it, so that it would eat that up and get rid of that laminar wedge. And oh man, I can't remember what they call it when the coffin bone dries up or the lamina dries up like that. But it actually is better. Cornified. That's it. Cornified. Anybody ever heard of that? They say it's cornified when it dries up like that. And then the hoof wall can grow straight down it without having to fight a bunch of nasty laminar wedge. That's what it is. So, Colleen sent us some more photos we'll look at here. So I really want to know what this black stuff is. So could you take some samples of that? Maybe we'll find somebody or some lab we could take it to find out what it is, okay? Because we might literally be able to use it to help horses that are foundered, okay? Because the biggest problem you have is that laminar wedge. So I want to know what is this black stuff? See, and it's everywhere. It's even in the creases here. Whatever she's got in her country, okay, it likes to get in there and eat that dead stuff. See? Okay, let's see. We're going to look at her pictures here that she's sending me. Okay. I'll have to talk to you later, Bethany. Bethany. Hey. Doing a webinar. and you're on, so don't swear. Not that she swears. She don't swear. You're on. Talk later. Okay, this is so much fun. So we're going to look at these pictures you just sent. Okay. Is this the same horse? This is a different horse. This is the same horse. Same one. Is this the same foot or is this a different foot? Wow, it sure looks different like that. Now, are we going? Did you just load all these? Okay, see, this toe I know is probably got a false toe right in here. And the heel is a false heel, and it's just keeping the whole hoof capsule from growing back and being where it's supposed to be. So it's all holding it right here. And I really do think you're going to have to do a deal where you're going to have to take some of this back and a bunch of that out, and some of this heel, clean out some of this heel and cast this foot so she has some support. Well, that picture don't. Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, it's like the foot just got stuck here. It's like this whole thing should be coming back. And you got, see how your wall goes like that. It's got a dip in it, so we know that that's not right. Now, sometimes when the heels are trimmed out of a horse, it makes the... Okay, this is the foot now. From okay, yeah. Look right back here. Here's where your frog stay should be. It's like the bulbs are coming clear out of this heel here. This is all going to have to be really taken down. Yeah, it's like this. Just a minute here. Oh wow, she's really shedding some stuff, isn't she? Is that the same foot? Well, I know that this apex is false. Okay? It's like she's shedding this whole hoof. But she's good up at the coronary band and stuff. That's all healthy. You know, now Sandra, you're gonna scare Colleen. You know. So yeah, it's just what it is. This is a perfect example of how when you go to grow stuff back, it can get stuck. You know, if the bars and everything, see, everything has to come back and be restored through growth cycles, you see? And so if you don't get this part of the bar trimmed right, the old bar placement is going to hold the heel forward while the heel is still growing up. You got to remember, when you are growing heels, the growth is not coming out the bottom. The growth is pushing up and pushing the foot back up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Colleen is saying, like is what is, yeah, like is was told to not do. No bar removal, no frog trimming. Yeah, so you know what? You know what? You know who's doing that, don't you? Telling people they need to grow heels without trimming frogs and bars? Our friend. Our little friend that wants to be a hoof guru. Yeah, the Bonehead Society. You know, see now, when I was doing this, that's good. That, see, the way I learned this from the toe back, okay, to where I finally, the heel buttress, I kind of learned backwards how to reverse the process, kind of, without totally screwing the foot up. Now, your other foot didn't do this quite the same, but you see here how this can create a major problem. Okay, let's look at another foot that's headed that way. Just a minute here. Okay. Okay, see this one? Okay, here's the foot without the heel, how we were all taught to trim, right? Look at there, there's your third. I didn't do the 30-degree hairline though, so my distortion came out a little different. But here's your 30-degree hairline and your rounded off heel and your short toe, right? Okay, now this person has been told by our local guru to just grow the heels. Just grow the heels. Don't trim the frog. It's there for a reason, you know, and not to trim the bars. Okay, now here there's April. Is that May or something? Okay, now look, the heel's starting to grow here. Okay, but now look over here. Now remember, what is the wall doing here? The growth is not growing down like this. The growth is growing up like that and pushing all the cartilage and the bulb and everything up. You understand? And so this growth is pushing the cartilage up, so that by the time we get over here, the growth has pushed the cartilage back up out of the back of the foot. You see, the old hoof